So we are totally into it. In fact, I would proudly say our chairman along with the court members have redefined Ashok Leyland purpose. It is transforming lives and business through leadership in mobility. It's no longer that we make vehicles. So it's the lives and business which we are going to touch as a mobility solutions. So definitely we are not making the vehicle end using. In fact, one of our subsidiary, the OM, along with Switch, who is the electric manufacturing arm of Ashok Leyland, OM does the kind of a mobility solutions for the STUs. They don't sell the vehicles. In fact, OM is a consortium which buys vehicle from Switch, and they play the role of the transport segment in that state or something, and then they get per kilometer based charges. So that's how the mobility things is moving from. People are expecting, see, you buy a vehicle and then you have to maintain it and you have to see whether its uptime is coming and all these things. Like how we always see, can I get the pay per use? So that is really the end user's perspective. Why he should bother about maintaining it and other thing, which is not his core area. So whereas we are very familiar with maintenance of those vehicles, monitoring it, replacement and other things. So the mobility as a solution is really going to be a kind of a game changer in future. And people who are getting integrated solutions right from vehicle to the last usage are going to be the change agents. As I was trying to explain in my session, the change as compared to a few decades earlier was something like 3 years, 4 years, maximum 5 years in a commercial vehicle industry. Now it's so rapid that with the augmentation of the alternate fuel and all the things coming inside, as well as the use of the digital power coming in a very big way, connectivity coming in a big way, mobility is going to be the real change agent. From Ashok Leyland perspective, we are ready for those changes. So to migrate from our current CV manufacturing, are we going to go towards that? Yes. If it is going to be the kind of a solution, we'll move towards that. Yeah, it's a very, very challenging situation. In fact, if I have to buy a kind of a facility equipment today, I really think 10 years ahead, what is going to happen? Should this asset is going to be a waste after say 3, 4 years or 5 years, maximum 10 years? Because any asset equipment in a manufacturing is something like 15 years. So is it going to be a kind of a waste after something? So you always see the future need of requirements, whether I am factoring it here, should I get an ROI earlier than that so that I am not really bothered? So if the ROI is really long, should I protect the specs properly? So all those things is really a kind of a thought process as compared to the earlier days where you buy 15 years, the same machine runs without any change of setup and all those things. So material change is happening, the concept design changes are happening. So we always do the real speccing, correct speccing, so that we take care of the future needs in the manufacturing area. See, one thing, while looking at the future, a long-term perspective, I should not lose the current. Okay, so definitely I need to reap the benefit faster. So what is the real kind of a cost-effective solution today for the current requirement is what is the first point of lookout. Now at the same time, if I say I'm buying a robo, it's not the robo alone which plays the manufacturing thing, it's a kind of a environment like the fixtures, that tools, that gadgets, which are all going to be there. How modular is going to be? Tomorrow there is a product change. Can I modify that? So there is a version change. Can I modify this setup without changing much? Robo is a robo, it can work anywhere. Okay, so let me give an example of a BIW welding line. I have 10 robots in that line. Today that model is going to be there, another 5 years there is going to be a different model. So I can easily mix and match this modular setup using this same cost of solutions and then redo it for the next model. Whereas if you see the olden days, we have a fixed line like an FMS, it cannot be changing, and after a product change, it becomes a kind of a huge change for us to do this exercise. Whereas this kind of a latest technology, we will be able to maneuver to a level, but beyond a point, yes, we have to see how it is going to help. Currently, the volume is not there on those future vehicles. The current IC vehicles has a good volume. So should I put up a separate line for that low volume line, but how it is going to change in the future? So those were the thought process. But finally what we decided is, let's try and do it in this line. Okay, so because if you see the modular vehicle, like as you rightly pointed out, our Avatar range is a very clearly modular vehicle, where it's designed for the IC engine, is also designed for a EV in future or a CNG, LNG kind of an arrangement. So 70% of the product, right from the frame, which is the base, and the cab, which is going to be common, is almost the same. The 30% is going to be the differentiator, like the engine and the transmission or the EV. Those cylinders, instead of a fuel tank, it's going to be LNG tank or a hydrogen tank. So those are the changes. So why waste this effort? And tomorrow this should not become a redundant one and I am going to put a facility there. So our thought process now is, let's utilize the current facility, though we may lose certainly on some productivity, but try and utilize the 70% commonality, do the 30% with certain taking care of those requirements in terms of safety and other aspects. We are trying to roll out. Now tomorrow this really goes up, so we'll be able to modify this line itself more towards a runner model on the EV or a future gen vehicle than the stranger model. IC becomes the stranger model. And we very clearly touched upon the hydrogen ICE, what we call it. If you say on the vehicle line, it is almost the same. Whether it is a fuel, instead of the fuel tank, it's going to be the hydrogen tank. That's the only change. Of course, the electronics, there are some changes which can be managed. The real change happens in the hydrogen is in the engine manufacturing line, where we need to have stringent controls of our engine manufacturing, but still the process is almost 70-80% we are able to manage. So that's where our product design also comes in handy to us. They always see how they can design the product suiting our existing facilities, so that asset redundancy does not become an issue later. Really, that's one of the great initiative which we have taken post-COVID, or we'll say post BS6 era, because as a vehicle with BS6 has more electronics, so we need to manage those electronics is one part, which is a need of the hour. In addition to that, the digitalization is happening fast. I would rather, because in fact I would proudly say we did something like MES in 2005 in one of the line. I'm saying that's 20 years back. But we are not really getting the benefit at that time. As of course, the other side of this was really costly at that time. Nowadays, we see this 20 years, there are multiple players in the air and easy solutions, application is very fast. So we need to reap the benefit of digitalization or the industry 4.0 is what real key thing. And at Ashok Leyland, we really wanted to go, in fact, I am leading the digital initiative in Ashok Leyland. We coined this MES as MPAS, Manufacturing Process Assurance System, which is indigenously designed, but of course the support with the smart startups and other people who are trying to help us out, and we are trying to roll out in a big way to make our manufacturing more digital savvy. With the Toyota or the kind of a passenger vehicle industry where the takt time seems to be very low, like 2-3 minutes. In the commercial vehicle, we don't have that kind of volume, but our takt times are something like 5-6 minutes. So, but yes, the lean manufacturing, the what you call the QMS, FMS, the maintenance systems, all it's like modeled from the international practices. And in fact, we also have our homegrown solution called ALPS, Ashok Leyland Production Systems, which takes care on 5 pillars of safety, cost, delivery, morale, and the other factors. So based on this, we have our own systems very clearly defined. And of course, it's a very lean approach is what we always adopt.